HarperCollins presents The Genius of Jane Austen, Her Love of Theatre, and Why She is a Hit in Hollywood, by Paula Byrne. Read by Antonia Beamish. Introduction. In 1821, 4 years after the death of Jane Austen, a critic in the Quarterly Review compared her art to Shakespeare's, saying as little as possible in her own person and giving a dramatic air to the narrative by introducing frequent conversations. She created her fictional world with a regard to character hardly exceeded even by Shakespeare himself. In the Victorian era, Austen was dubbed the prose Shakespeare. George Eliot's common-law husband, George Henry Lewis, developed the comparison in an influential Blackwood's Magazine article on the novels of Jane Austen. But instead of description, the common and easy resource of novelists, she has the rare and difficult art of dramatic presentation. Instead of telling us what her characters are and what they feel, she presents the people, and they reveal themselves. In this, she has never perhaps been surpassed, not even by Shakespeare himself. Yet another 19th century writer, the novelist Thomas Lister, ascribed her genius to revelation of character through dramatic dialogue. She possessed the rare and difficult art of making her readers intimately acquainted with the character of all whom she describes. She scarcely does more than make them act and talk, and we know them directly. Austen herself had a strong sense of the importance of dramatic dialogue in the novel. She and her family, like many others of their class, loved to read aloud together. The Austen women ranked novels according to how well they stood up to repeated group readings. Thus, Charlotte Lennox, the female Quixote, remained a firm favourite, whereas Sarah Burney's Clarentine failed the test. We are reading Clarentine, and are surprised to find how foolish it is. I remember liking it much less on a second reading than at the first, and it does not bear a third at all. Jane Austen also had strict notions about how characters in her own novels should be rendered dramatically. To her chagrin, her mother botched the dialogue badly when Pride and Prejudice was read aloud to some friends. Our second evening's reading to Miss Benn had not pleased me so well, but I believe something must be attributed to my mother's too rapid way of getting on, and though she perfectly understands the characters herself, she cannot speak as they ought. Perhaps Austen's frustration stemmed from her own aptitude for dramatic renditions. Her brother Henry noted her skill in the biographical notice written soon after her death. She read aloud with very great taste and effect. Her own works, probably, were never heard to so much advantage as from her own mouth, for she partook largely in all the best gifts of the comic muse. Her niece, Caroline Austen, recorded in her memoir, "She was considered to read aloud remarkably well. I did not often hear her, but once I knew her take up a volume of Evelina and read a few pages of Mr. Smith and the Branktons, and I thought it was like a play." In Mansfield Park, it is typically tongue-in-cheek that Austen endows her villain Henry Crawford with her own gift for reading aloud. Edmund's commendation of Henry's reading of Shakespeare, "To read him well aloud is no everyday talent," is seconded by Lady Bertram's approving comment, which curiously prefigures Caroline Austen's, "It was really like being at a play." Austen's 19th century critics defined her genius in terms of her dramatic powers. Her great achievement was in character study. As in Shakespeare, the fools are as distinctive and perfectly discriminated as are the heroines, and all the characters reveal themselves unhampered by an obtrusive authorial presence through dramatic presentation and conversations, by a kind of dramatic ventriloquism. Yet in the 20th century there was a common perception that Jane Austen had a deep distrust of the dramatic arts. This was principally due to the notorious amateur theatricals in Mansfield Park. The disruption caused to the household by the performance of Lovers' Vows during Sir Thomas Bertram's absence from home was taken as proof of the author's own distaste for theatre. There are, however, a range of judgments upon home representation in Mansfield.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?